guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kaylin and I'm back with another video. I'm trying to get this lighting right so you don't see the light in my glasses, but anyway, welcome back. Happy Friday, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot is going on. A lot is going on in my life, and I definitely think I would have just not done this video to just sit and, you know, try to just gather my thoughts, my heart, my mind. There's just so much going on in my life. Very much there's good stuff, but then there's also stuff that just was very unexpected that just kind of sprung on me, and yeah, I'm dealing with that. So I'm not like totally here in my headspace, but I know that I mentioned in my last vlog, like, we can't go off of feelings and just sit in our feelings and emotions and let them rule us, because someone needs to hear this message. When it came to my heart and mind to write down my notes for this message, my thoughts, my ideas for this video, I just felt like it was so powerful. And I just feel like every time I have a video like this, the enemy tries and tries and tries and tries, and usually he's successful. Usually I put it off, or I let the circumstances or my feelings get ahead of me, and I don't record the video when I'm supposed to, and it doesn't come out on time. But like, enough is enough, because the things keep coming. The things keep on coming. And it's like, when are you going to keep pushing past the circumstances? Because the feelings, the emotions, all those are temporary. But this word, this message today is for somebody. And this is not just about me. And I think that's what it comes down to when we think about stewarding our gifts, our talents, our resources, whatever it is that God placed you on this earth for. It is not just for your gain, your benefit, for you. It is for the benefit, the saving, the salvation of somebody else. So I'm showing up today despite my mood, despite how I'm feeling. My head hurts so bad from just like the thoughts and, like, honestly, like a little bit of like the stress and everything going on in my personal life, but that is not going to stop me. We're persisting with purpose, and we're gonna get this message out, and I hope that it blesses whoever this message is for. We are in our Chosen series. We talked about becoming. We talked about, you know, just the transition time, stepping into the woman that God has called you to become, and now we have to believe it. And so we're going to be talking about the cost of looking back when God chose you. So we're chosen. He put us all here in the places that we are in and the families that we are in. He created us exactly how we're supposed to be for a reason. And now it's like, do you believe that he fully equipped you in your before you were even in your mother's womb, had purpose for your life, put a name to you before your parents named you? Like, do you truly believe that you are chosen, that God is going to use you and can use you and will use you to advance his kingdom? So the cost of looking back, if that doesn't give you a hint on what we're talking about today, we're talking about Lot's wife. And the verses that we're going to be talking about, it's really, if you don't know who Lot's wife is, go back to Genesis, read Genesis. But today we are talking about Genesis chapter 19. That's basically the chapter that you can read to get just a little backstory on the story of Lot's wife. So long story short, God was destroying the city of Sodom and Gomorrah because of its wickedness, because of its sinfulness all throughout the city. And Lot and his family were there. Angels came to him. I actually think I did a video on this, on the Genesis Bible study, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I did. If I did, I'll leave the video here. But God sent angels to Lot in his house to tell him and his family to leave and warn him that the city was going to be destroyed. And because of Abraham said, like, can you please spare, you know, his family? And he was trying to talk, Abraham was trying to talk God down, that if there was even any righteous people, if you could not destroy it. But the whole city was just sinful, just full of sin. So God took into account what Abraham was saying, sent his angels to go tell Lot to get his family out and that the city was going to be destroyed. On their way out, they had instructions from the angels. So I'm going to read from it's Genesis chapter 19, verse 12 through 29 I'll read. So then the angel said to Lot, do you have anyone else here, a son-in-law, your sons and daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of this place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against its people is so great before God that the Lord has sent us to destroy it. So the angels revealed God's plan to Lot. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-laws who were going to marry his daughters. Get up, he said, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city. But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. At daybreak, the angels urged Lot on, get up, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away in the punishment of the city. But he hesitated. Because of the Lord's compassion for him, the men grabbed his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters. They brought him out and left him outside the city. As soon as the angels got them outside, one of them said, run for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere on the plain. Run to the mountains or you will be swept away. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please. Your servant indeed found favor with you, and you have shown me great kindness by saving my life. But I can't run to the mountains. The disaster will overtake me and I will die. Look, this town is close enough for me to flee. It is a small place. Please let me run to it. It's only a small place, isn't it? So that I can survive. And he said to him, all right, I'll grant your request about this matter too, and will not demolish the town you mentioned. Hurry up, run to it, for I cannot do anything until you get there. Therefore, the name of the city is Zoar. The sun had risen over the land when Lot reached Zoar. Then out of the sky, the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah, burning sulfur from the Lord. He demolished these cities, the entire plain, all the inhabitants of the cities, and whatever grew on the ground. But Lot's wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. And that is the consequence of disobedience. Early in the morning, Abraham went to the place where he had stood before the Lord. That's verse 27. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah and all the land of the plain, and he saw that the smoke was going up from the land like the smoke of a furnace. So it was, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and brought Lot out of the middle of the upheaval when he demolished the cities where Lot had lived. So if you remember, Abraham and Lot were together and then they separated. Lot went to Sodom and Gomorrah, and it was just a city of evil, destruction, and sin. So that's where his family was. So when God went to destroy it, he sent his angels. Thank God that Abraham was trying to do something to save him because he knew he was there. God stepped in, went to go save him, gave him an out, warned him, gave him an out, like, you need to get out of here. The city is going to be destroyed. If you do not leave, you will be destroyed along with it. His wife, they were on their way out, and she looked back. And it's like, why did she look back? When God gives us an out in certain situations, when God has us ready to move to our next location, when God is taking us from one role to another role, from one place to another place, we are to look forward. We are not to look back. But we're going to talk about why is it that we look back. And it is because there is a doubt, there is a fear, there is an unbelief that you or we are chosen. And we have to get out of that, because if we continue to look back, it's going to cost us. Just like it cost Lot's wife her life, it's going to cost us, because God has so much more ahead for you and for me. We can't afford to keep looking back at what it is that he's trying to bring us out of, what it is that he's trying to save us from. There is no reason to be stuck in the past when there's so much that God has planned for our future. So it comes down to obedience and trust. So I wrote a whole bunch of notes out. This is not going to be like all organized because it was a lot. I wrote a lot of notes because I was just like, wow, 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 wow. So in this journey, God will call you to new places, new roles, new positions, and we have to be obedient and move. It will be uncomfortable and a little scary, but God will never leave nor forsake us. Where he calls you, there he will be as well. So it's like, it's scary to leave your comfort zone. It's scary to take what we call a risk, a step of faith, and do something that we believe God is calling us to do. It is scary. But we have to understand that if he's telling us to do this, he sees things that we don't see. He knows the plan. He knows the future that he has for you. So we have to take that step of faith and be obedient and move into what it is that he is calling us to. And it is hard, but we know that we're not going to be alone. Wherever God is leading you, he's also going to be there with you. He's going to equip you when you feel like you have that imposter syndrome, or you're not, as confident in who you are. He's going to help build that. He's going to help grow that. He's going to help, get you fully equipped and prepared to be the woman that he has called you to be. So leaving the familiar is hard. This city was where their family was planted, where they spent most of their time, their friends, their families, their possessions, their home, like all this stuff is where they were. And then God is saying, you got to get up out of here now. And sometimes it happens quickly like that in situations for us, but sometimes it doesn't, and it's a little bit of time and God slowly moves us. But what is it when you feel that urge, or you feel that call, like you hear about other people like getting up and leaving the state that they live in and moving to a totally different state and not really knowing why they're doing that. They just know that God told them to do that. Sometimes God will call us to do things swiftly, and it may seem like it's just like so fast for us, but there's a reason. There's a reason for that promptness. There's a reason for him to be like, let's go. We got to move now. But leaving your familiar is hard because that's what you're used to. That's where you're comfortable. You know what to expect. You had routine, but now God's transitioning you into the next. And it's like you get comfortable and more familiar the more you're in something, the more you do something. So it's like every place that we've been in, at one point, it was unfamiliar. It was uncomfortable. But as time goes on, we grow, we learn, we develop new routines, new perspectives, new familiarities in whatever it is that we're doing. And then you get comfortable, and some people get stuck in that spot. But God is always going to call us to go higher, to evolve, especially as women, to evolve. And we're ultimately trying to become who he has created us to. We have so much potential, so many gifts that he's put into you that it's like you can't just stay stuck where you're comfortable. There's things that you gotta experience and go through in order to grow into this person that he wants you to be. So you weren't meant to stay in the same place forever. So when God calls us to move, we need to trust in his plan and take the next step in faith. Walking in faith, I have said so many times, means not knowing what is next, not seeing the whole plan unravel. It's believing without seeing. We trust God. We love God. We know that he has our best interests with what he does. We know that. So why is it so hard and so scary to let go and trust? And it's because it's unfamiliar. It's a little bit scary. You start to doubt. You start to overthink. Those are all your feelings and emotions, because guess what? The enemy also knows where God is trying to take you. So that doubt, that fear, that uncomfort, all that is little tactics, little schemes of the enemy. Like, oh, if I can get her to just doubt that, maybe this is not the time for her to move yet. Maybe this is not the time for her to take that job. Maybe this is not the time for her, to start her family. Let me just plant some doubt in her. Let me plant some fear that like things might not work out if she does this. That job, she might not like it if she switches. And I'm talking to me on that. That's personal. That's something that was going through my mind. That's the enemy. Because he knows he'll get you stuck. You're stuck in your feelings. You're stuck in your emotions. You're stuck in that fear and that doubt. You're not moving. You're not going anywhere. So he has you exactly where he wants you. When you're sitting there questioning, you're fighting, you're wrestling. That wrestling, that's the enemy. Because we should just be able to know that God would not tell us to do something if it wasn't for a reason, would not put these opportunities ahead of us. And it's like, that's where you have to pray to discern, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Is this God, or is this something set up from the enemy that looks good but really isn't? And that's when you need to have your own personal time with God, relationship, and understand discernment and what it is. That is he calling you to this, or is it something else? So we literally cannot afford to look back. We can't afford to be stuck. The enemy knows exactly what your potential is, what your purpose is, and he does not want you to get there. So he'll put little roadblocks everywhere on your path to stop you and try to deter you and try to get you to go back. so you don't get to where God wants you to be. So some reasons that I wrote down why you might look back. Number one, routine, familiar, comfort. I'm just going to tell you straight up on my personal experience just now. When I left my job and I was battling, trying to figure out what it was that I was going to do next. I knew that God was calling me out of my previous job. I did not know where I was going next. Reasons why I didn't really want to leave or quit. I was comfortable. I was so comfortable. I didn't even have to really I was so in a routine. I knew exactly what to do. At work, there wasn't anything I had to really learn. Yeah, things would come up here and there, but I was comfortable with the people. I was comfortable with my day-to-day. The only thing, there were some things just working night shift and stuff that bothered me, but I could do it with my, not my eyes closed, but it was familiar. It was comfortable. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't overthinking. I wasn't unsure of myself. I was very confident in my role. That could be a reason why you look back. Number two, your plans. Your plans and God's plans are not the same. If you haven't realized that now, I don't know what else to tell you, but you cannot get caught up in your plans, because our plans are so small compared to what God has planned for us. And we think very small, and it's we got to start thinking a little bit bigger, because we serve a big God who can do any and all things. The impossible, things that people would not even think or imagine for us, that is what he can do for us. And he's asking us to trust him. He's asking for us to surrender fully and tap into what God wants to do in your life. Work hard and put that effort in that you're giving everybody else, everything else. You have the ability to give that energy and that effort to other things. So why not give it to God, who can multiply and do so much more with what it is that you have? Your plans are just, something that can stop you, as that's not what I had planned for me. That's not what I saw myself doing in the next 2 years. That wasn't my dream. That wasn't what my goal. That wasn't what, I planned for my life. I'm just making people, when they don't have kids at a certain age, or they're not married by a certain age, that's not their plan. But for some reason, that's in God's plans. It's just not the time yet. And that's something that we have to understand, is nothing is on our timetable. When God says move, we have to move. When God brings something to light, we have to act on it. We have to be ready at all times. Number three, people. You might look back because of people. It is so important who you surround yourself with. Are there people who are talking life into you? Are there people that have their head on their shoulders and are also God-fearing women? Who is in your circle? As I've gotten closer to God, my circle is so small, y'all. But I'm fine with that. I've went through my grieving, my, emotions and feelings on, why don't I have a whole bunch of friends? Why don't I have this, whatever? I've been through so many hard times in my life, and guess who's always been there? God. And that's what if I have God, I have all that I need. I know for a fact he'll bring the right people into my life at the right time. And I don't have to be so, go out of my way to try to find these friends, to try to, forge these relationships. I want whatever God has for me. I want the people that he wants for me in my life. And sometimes we get caught up in the people around us and get caught up in their way of thinking, especially if they're not God-fearing and they're not working on their own relationship with God or have a relationship with God. We can fall into the things that they're saying, the things that they're doing, birds of a feather flock together. You have to be very mindful of the people that are around you, the people that are in your ear, the people that you're looking up to. It's do you have good mentors? Do you have good role models? Do you have good leadership that you're under? And that could be a reason why you look back. It's because those people are familiar. Those people were, they were with me back in the day. They knew me. We grew up together. We went to school together. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be going where God is taking you next. And I think that's the hardest part, which I might have to do a whole separate video on that. That's hard, because that's also something that's not a part of your plan, not a part of, what you have as an idea for yourself, is leaving people behind. Because sometimes we have to leave people behind, and they may not be in our next season. God might not have them carrying on into the next season in your life, and that's sad, and it's something to miss. And that's why you could look back, but you have to trust that it's for a reason, and God is doing something bigger. And you just have to know that he will restore anything that was lost, anything that was taken, anything that you've left behind. He'll restore it, and he will also give you more. So number 4 is, again, feelings and emotions. That doubt, that fear, that will have you looking back, because it's that is just the enemy. That is nothing but the enemy, is to look back because of you fearing things not working out, you fearing that this is not the right thing for you, or you just don't know. All that, it's a lie. So Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. She died. That was it for her because she was disobedient. God gave her an out, gave her the way to go, and she completely did not listen. She knew exactly what would happen to her if she looked back because it was clearly stated, but she did anyway. So death and a big cost is what happens when you don't believe you are chosen to move forward. Because even if it's not like a physical death, it can be your purpose is wasting. It's you're not activating, you're not stepping into your purpose and allowing yourself to grow and learn because you're stuck in the past. You won't move forward. You're stuck in whatever it is, whatever idea, whatever previous life, whatever previous situation, whatever previous role, you're stuck in that. And you have to be okay with letting go. And it is hard, but you have to trust and have that faith in God that He's doing everything for a reason. So when you don't believe that there's better ahead, which is a lie from the enemy, you're gonna be stuck. Overall, one of the things that I've been saying lately is if whatever it is that's going on in my life is not good yet, or it doesn't feel like it's good, it doesn't look good, then God's not done. Because whatever God is doing is going to be good. It's going to be fruitful. Everything that He makes, everything that He touches, He knows that it is good. So if it's not good, He's not done yet. There's still more. There's more to your story. If your life isn't exactly how you thought it would be, if you're in a tough season right now, if it's not good, He's not done yet. Keep trusting, keep holding on, keep going, keep getting closer to Him, keep staying close to Him, keep your mind right, keep renewing your mind every day and being in your word, because He is not done. Your story is not done. This is not the end. This is literally just the beginning. We think that things are the end, but God has so much planned for us that it's not even funny. So Lot's wife had access to the promise, but she didn't believe she belonged in it. There could be multiple reasons why you don't believe that you're chosen. It could be the way you grew up, the things that people have said to you. It could be a bunch of things, lies that you believe about yourself because of just, previous people saying things, upbringing, all that. That is what you need to work on in your time with God. I also am a big avid supporter of therapy. I think that helps you to understand some of the childhood trauma, the generational curses, all that kind of stuff. I believe that helps you be more aware of some of the things that go on and why you think the way you do, why you have a certain perspective, how you cope and handle things. I think that brings a good foundation for you to learn that kind of stuff. So there's a reason why you don't believe that you're chosen. Is it because you don't believe who God says you are? Then that's when we have to go back to our first series, Becoming, and understand that God made you for a reason. You are becoming. You are a woman of God. You are a woman of substance. You are a woman of purpose. And it's just you have to believe that first in order to walk into it and know that you're chosen. So Lot's wife, her heart was still tied to what God was trying to free her from. He's trying to free you from something. He's trying to move you forward. He's trying to get you unstuck. He's trying to have you pick up your feet and move, because the longer you stay in that spot, the longer you're gonna be miserable. And it's like, not even miserable because you could be comfortable, but God has so much planned for you that you will literally be so excited and just to be able to walk in your purpose. Like when I see women or like leaders and I can see their gifts so clearly, I'm like, that just must be amazing to be doing what it is that you've been called to do and to be confident with it. Like to be confident, like you don't know what people are battling with in their own personal time, but like to see that, it's like, yeah, I want that. I want to be bold in who I am, who God called me to be, in the roles that He's called me to. Like, I'm not talking about I'm comparing myself. No, we're past that. And if you're not past that, you have to work on not comparing yourself and staying in your lane and trusting that God has a unique purpose and calling for your life that only you can fill. Once you realize that, there's no need to compare, because there's not another me. There's not another you. There's no one else who has the same purpose as you. God made you for a reason. So it's like, I want to be bold. I want to be stepping in my calling. I'm going to be confident. And I know that I'm chosen. I know that I am. No one can tell me that I'm not. And that's where we all need to be in order to execute and fully walk in our purposes and then touch the lives of others. Because who's going to sit here and listen to someone who's not confident, who doesn't really know what they're like? You're not going to be able to impact lives in the way that you could if you were confident and bold and walking in authority, walking in the authority that God gave you. So familiar pain feels safer sometimes than a foreign promise. You know what it's like to be in the position that you're in. If it doesn't get better, oh well. If it gets worse, then we'll deal with it. But sometimes it's like you get caught in that mindset that, well, it's not that bad compared to what if I do step out? What if I do something that is new and I go to this new place, or I take this new role, or I step into what God is calling me to be and it doesn't work out, or I fail. Like, so many things can go on in your mind that make you think that this familiar pain, this suffering, this life that you're living right now, the trauma that you might be in, is better than a promise that you just aren't too sure. You have a little worry, you have a little doubt. It's foreign. It stops you from making that step. And I can say for that, as an example, the trauma that I had with my birth, with my first daughter, which I will talk more about in the reference to this in like when my podcast comes back. But if you follow my Instagram, I did make a reel about it, about the birth of Kennedy, and how the enemy really tried to rob me of that. And looking back on it now, it's like, it's a clear example of being stuck and looking back and not looking forward, because I was allowing the trauma and my birth trauma to keep me down. I allowed it to kind of like, I was speaking like negatively, like there was no hope for the future of having more kids. Like I was saying I didn't want any more kids. I was saying like, oh, you'll never one and done. Like, there's no way. Like, there was a point where I literally was so caught up in what happened to me that I didn't allow anything else to get into my mind, if that makes sense. Like, the trauma was who I was at that point. Like, I literally made the trauma who I was. And that was just something that I had to learn and grow in. And as I strengthened and built my relationship with God and went through therapy to address a lot of that trauma and my experience, it brought healing and it brought a new outlook, because you don't have to be what you have gone through. You don't have to be stuck in that situation for the rest of your life. You are not what happened to you. There can be and will be better. Like, I was so nervous to have any more kids after Cam, because I'm like, what if it happens again? What if something happens to me this time? What if something happens to my child this time? Like, I did not even want to go there. And if I didn't take that step and trust God and listen to what he told me about my future children, I would have lost and missed out on so much. And Kennedy is such a beautiful part of my life, and I look at her every day and I'm like, I could have forfeited this, because I would have been too scared and stuck in the past and the familiar pain, and I would have let it all go, because the enemy really tried. And I just don't want anyone else out there to be stuck in that familiar situation, that old life, that old lifestyle. You don't have to be stuck in that place. God has more for you. He has so much planned and ahead. You just have to trust him. You're not gonna know what's gonna happen, but you know that he's gonna be there. You know that he's gonna take care of you. He will provide. He will keep you safe. He will comfort you in the times that are hard. You just have to keep going forward. Don't look back. You're not missing anything. You're not leaving anything that valuable behind. God will bring you more, and he'll bring you better. So you can't step into chosen while still longing from what God is saving you from. Lot's wife, her gaze revealed where her loyalty lied. She looked back longingly. So she wanted to go back. She wanted to be there. She didn't want to go where God was bringing her. So just some points. Some women know God has called them, but they don't feel worthy to be chosen. In result, they cling to environments, old versions of themselves, or old relationships. 5 things that you know you're moving forward. Trust and identity, faith, becoming, obedience, and being chosen. Looking back is attachment to old identity, fear, remaining, nostalgia, those memories, those good old days, that man, that boyfriend, Stop with the memories. Feeling stuck and unworthy. Those are reasons to look back. The last 5 points I just want to leave with you guys. God calls you out before he reveals what you are going into. You're going to have to step out in faith. You're not going to necessarily know where he's bringing you and what is next. But you have to trust him and be obedient to walk into it. Number 2, the enemy will use comfort as a counterfeit of calling. He does not want you to go anywhere. He wants you to be nice and comfortable, chilling. Like there is nothing that you have to do, no more effort you have to extend. He wants you comfortable. You can't stay in your comfort zone forever. You certainly can't if you want to grow, you want to elevate, and you want to walk in your purpose. Number 3, familiarity feels safe, but it keeps you small. You're not going to grow, you're not going to learn, you're not going to evolve or become who God created you to be if you're staying in those familiar places that are keeping you small. They're not allowing you to grow and develop and learn and go through that process that God is trying to take you to transform you into the woman he's called you to be. Number 4, looking back is a sign of unbelief and who God says you are becoming. We have to stop doubting ourselves. We have to stop doubting that it can be you. It is you. God chose you. You are chosen. When are you going to believe it? When are you going to stop letting the enemy whisper in your ear saying that it can't be you? No one in your family did it. It can't be you. No one in your town is it. Like, it can be you. If God put something in your heart, in your mind, and he told you and you know that you don't need anyone else to tell you that. God will get you there. God will provide. You just have to move. You have to trust him that he will come through. And then number 5, when God chooses you, he also separates you. There's some places you have to come up out of. There's some relationships you have to come up out of. There's some environments you have to come up out of. There's some friendships you have got to come up out of. And we might not understand the reasoning in that moment, but trust me when I say you will understand it as you watch God unveil and reveal everything that he is doing in your life. It will make sense one day, but until it does, have faith that he has good plans. He has plans to prosper you. He knows what he's doing. Trust him. Read your word. See how he has come through on his promises, how he is with the covenants that he makes with his children. Learn who God is. Trust in him and have faith to move. Because if you don't move, you're going to pay the cost. If you look back and you keep looking back, you're going to pay the cost. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it made sense, y'all, because I didn't really do the notes like I usually do the notes. But I hope that it wasn't too long. But I'm glad that I powered through, and hopefully this message was heard by whoever it is that needed to hear it. I am literally walking this out as I'm living. And that's why I think this series is so amazing, because I'm going through it. So I am becoming equipped and learning and becoming confident in my own way, and I'm just getting real sick and tired of the enemy trying to keep me from my calling, trying to distract me and pull me away from what it is that I'm called to. And enough is enough. And we're going to start walking in our purpose, and we're going to start advancing this kingdom and equipping God's daughters, because y'all, we all have a reason why we're here, and we all are called to work together to advance the kingdom and bring glory to Jesus Christ. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will likely be a vlog. So bye.
It's the day that the Lord has made.